let's talk a little bit now about waterline tile on fiberglass pools specifically.
Why don't we talk about inlay tile?
We could talk about inlay tile if we want. We certainly have some stuff to talk about there. But you can add tile to a fiberglass pool, just like with any other type of pool.
Sure.
All right, so there are different ways that you can go about doing that. You mentioned inlay, it's a good point. You know, because with an inlay tile, the difference is the inlay tile is actually flush with the top of the fiberglass pool.
Absolutely.
So they'll take that tile pattern and they'll actually put a template down. So when they build the fiberglass pool, they pull the shell off, there's a recessed area, then you basically adhere that tile to the pool so it's all flat. And those are inlay tile are typically under the water line. And sometimes you can have different patterns on steps and seats. You can do mosaics in the pool floor or even on the wall. We did a lot of that in years past. And what we found is that well, we don't really do it anymore. You know, we can do it if on a special request, but we're not big fans of it because you know, there's a lot of reasons. Actually, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, when we first started doing inlays, they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. If I didn't know, if my pool had gone in 8 years ago, my pool would have been full of them.
Yep.
I mean, they're just awesome. And I'd have definitely had the shark in there. I'd had a couple dolphins, probably a shark chasing them. But the fact of the matter is, we sold them because we were sold on them. And again, we're an evolving company. We're always trying to better the industry and not keep with the norm. They do come out, and it's an expensive repair. So number one, you better hope that you have the piece when it comes out, or it's got to be bought, and that's going to be expensive because you're buying a single piece.
Because each on the mosaic tiles, each one is custom.
Yes, it's custom.
Custom made. This is not a you know, a industrial type of a factory setting where they're just cranking out repeat patterns. This is, everyone is handcrafted.
Exactly. And so then you have this tile that pops out of the bottom of your pool, and it looks ugly because it's out. You know, now you're missing some pieces. And how do you repair that? Well, you can't drain the pool. You don't want to drain the pool. An expert has to come out and drain the pool, us. And it becomes very expensive. So to repair something that probably should cost you about $100 to repair turns into about $2,000 by the time you pay for water, labor, and everything. So we completely got away from inlay tiles. And again, you know, if we did one on a special request, and we really do our best to convince the customer that it's really not worth it. And it drives Jason crazy, it drives me crazy that we go to pool and spa shows in the industry, and it seems like everybody loads their pools up with these tiles to make them look better. Just build a good looking pool, and then you don't have to load them up with tile.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the waterline tile. That's really the key factor. And again, that's a matter of taste.
And one thing about the inlay tile, it's not a matter of if it's going to have to be replaced, it's a matter of when. Exactly. Are you going to get 5 years? Because the warranty on that is going to be, in most cases, a year tops, which, you know, you're very rarely are you going to have an issue within a year, but you look 5, 10 years down the road, it's going to have to be replaced.
Yep.
And you're going to have to do those things you talked about. And one other real quick point there, a lot of times there's different, like we said, there's different ways to do the inlays. There's the mosaics, which we've talked about mainly, but on the steps and seats, one real popular option is to do diamonds.
Right.
And kind of have those aligned along the step, and usually within about an inch or two of the edge of the step. And you know, if I go back to a pool with that, you know, that's more than 2 or 3 years old, on almost every single one of those diamonds, I'm going to see a little hairline crack in the gel coat.
Gel coat, exactly.
Because it actually serves to weaken the gel coat right in that one point. And so that's not a good thing either.
Good point, yeah. I didn't think about that, but that's true.
So inlays are beautiful. They probably do help the manufacturer sell more pools because they're very appealing. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. Let's just build a good pool. Let's get it out there. And if someone wants an inlay, that's great, but let's make sure that they understand, you know, what they have coming down the road.
Right. And that's the one thing, that's one of the few things that we won't warranty though, inlays, because we've warned the customer and it can happen, and it's not a headache that we want to see. Chances of them coming out in the first year is very slim. I don't think we've ever had that happen.
Right.
But they do come out. We've seen a lot of them come out.
Yeah.
And like you said, you've seen the cracks.
Yeah. So the difference between an inlay tile and waterline tile is that the inlay tile is usually under the water and it's recessed into the pool shell, where waterline tile is just a 6-inch strip of tile that runs along the waterline of the pool, and it's actually adhered to the surface of the pool.
Correct. And then so that's above the pool, It's easy to repair. If it does need to repair, we don't have to drain the pool all the way down to repair it. You know, it's a matter of taste when it comes to putting tile on a pool. So I have customers that absolutely love it and they want it,
Yep.
and we're more than happy to put it on. And I have customers that are like kind of don't know whether they want it, and they ask me, so is there a reason I should get it? And my answer is, if it's not really floating your boat, I wouldn't get it, because eventually you got to fix it. Concrete pools have to have tile. That's not a can we or should we. It is, you have to have it. And if you don't have it, you'll have this big ugly stain. Fiberglass pools don't have to have tile.
Right.
And that's one of the advantages that fiberglass pools have over concrete pools.
Because the surface is different than on a plastic
and
pool.
it's amazing too, because we're careful about this, that when someone says we want tile, and I'm like, okay, so let's take a look at some pictures with tile and without tile. My response is not, yes, I'm gonna make some extra money here.
Yeah.
That's not my response. My response is, let's make sure that this is what the customer wants.
Yeah.
So we look at the pictures and we can compare. It's surprising how many people say, ooh, you know, I mean, I like tile, I like that, but this doesn't look that bad. And honey, we could get that heat pump.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so they start to use that money for something different, or maybe to expand their patio, because
Yeah.
they would rather do that, because they realize the tile might enhance it,
Yeah.
but does it enhance it enough to take away 200, 300 square feet of patio?
Yeah. So what would someone who was considering waterline tile expect to spend on it?
Oh, you would spend anywhere from $2,100 to $2,700, $2,800 on a standard, on our standard. And then if you
Right.
wanted to say, well, we don't want the standard, we didn't like any of your pictures, and we hand you our catalog, which was much more extensive, and you're saying, oh, I really like this one, then you're going to spend another extra $400 to $800
For a special order tile?
Yeah, because it's not in stock, and so
Right.
now we have to order it, and we're going to pay more.
Yeah. I know when I'm sitting down with people and I'm looking at pictures, you know, there's people that clearly, as soon as they see it, they know they want it. And then there's people that really kind of take another approach, and they kind of look at pools in general, and they say, well, I like that one and I like that one. And a lot of times with those people, it's not necessarily waterline tile that's a make or break issue, because if you think about it, if you take a plain pool and you put it in the ground and you pour just a standard broom finish concrete around the pool, it's going to be beautiful, but that's a situation where maybe waterline tile could enhance that pool. All right, but if you take the same pool and you put a nice coping around the edge and you get a decorative patio, like an upgrade, like a paver product, and you have some water features and you have really nice landscaping, there's a good chance that you'll probably not even notice if that pool has waterline tile or not.
Exactly.
So a lot of times it has more to do with what's going on around the pool than the actual pool itself. So someone who's considering waterline tile, is it the sort of thing that you can typically add later?
You can, but it's a little more difficult. So it depends on the type of coping. If you have bullnose coping and you think you're going to add, even if, you know, most of the time they have it out far enough that you could still add the tile, but if you're thinking about adding tile, we would put that bullnose coping a little further out for it to accommodate. If you have cantilever concrete, then you want to add tile later. The tile would go on, and we would have to come back and reparge the concrete to match the top of the tile, so you can see the top.
Right. So it's possible, but it's kind of difficult.
We've done it a couple times though.
Yeah.